Hello, it's WGL Review on the air. The Challenger Rumble in New York is approaching fast, and now we've got interview with one of its participants, the member of Kazna Kru team. Hello, Veco. Thanks for coming to this interview.
Hello, I'm glad to do this interview.
So, congratulations to Kazna on qualifying for Challenger Rumble.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so let's get back to the land finals in Katowice. First, what can you say about the way this event was organized? Was it comfortable for you and your teammates to play offline?
Yes, it was comfortable. Everything went smooth. Only thing we didn't like is that the matches started a little bit late, and the schedule between the matches and the matches were kind of they rushed us after our first game and our second game. Everything was rushed because they were running late with the games. So, in my opinion, if the game started a couple of hours earlier, we wouldn't finish at 11 p.m. And we were on the second match, we were quite exhausted and hungry and everything. So that's the only thing that that went kind of bad. Everything else was really well organized.
Wow, you had really tough schedule.
Yes, we did. But the thing is that we didn't have enough of a break between the first and second game, and the second game was really pushed on us. I mean, we had, I don't know, 15 to 20 minutes to pick our maps, then pick tank lineup, and you can't do that all in 15 to 20 minutes. So, in my opinion, that was the baddest thing of all.
Does it mean that you didn't have time to discuss your strategies, the way you're going to play?
Yes, we didn't have time as much as we wanted. As you can see on the streams, we were all on one PC, like Ding. They were also on one PC, and we were discussing tactics and tank really fast. Without, if we had like half a more hour to do it, it would be perfect.
Okay, I get you. In the first round, you beat Utopia 7-5, and in the finals, you lost to Dink with the same score
Yes,
and placed second. Did you expect those matches to go the way they did, and are you satisfied with your result?
I'm satisfied with our result because our first and primary goal was to win Utopia and qualify for the Challengers Rumble, which we did. And later on, the game against Ding was just to enjoy the game and play the game for what it is. And we did that. I'm a little bit disappointed because we had the game in our hands until one map that was Prokhorovka, and we should actually won that game because Ding didn't seem quite as an unbeatable team like they were on the onlines, and they were unbeaten on the onlines, and they won against Oops. So they didn't have a loss. But when we played them on the first couple of maps, Mainz, Himmelsdorf, we saw that they are not unbeatable, and we kind of had the win in our pockets, but we lost due to some mistakes and some we were not all on the same page. Maybe that was because we were tired, because we were playing the same all day long or something. I don't know, but overall, I'm satisfied with our goal, and that was to qualify for New York.
Okay, I see. Speaking of the match with Ding, what do you think prevented you from winning?
Um, hmm,
You were really
maybe
close.
we were close, and I know that even though they throw some games, but I think we throw a lot more games than them, especially on that Prokhorovka that we lost 2-0, and I think it could have went smoother if we won at least one game on that Prokhorovka. Then we would at least go to the decider map, or we would win 7-5. But that was that was basically the map that where we lost the finals.
Okay, I see, thank you. So, speaking of playing offline, what are the strong sides and the weak sides of your team and of the opposite team, I mean Ding, when you play offline? What can you say about this?
Well, I can say that we are more comfortable playing offlines than onlines. The fact that we played 10 minimum 10 offlines is a really good thing for us. We are experienced in that in playing offlines, and that's what we rely upon every offline that we go, that we're experienced, that we're calm, that the pressure doesn't hit us at all. I could say for Ding as well. They have a couple of guys who were in Virtus Pro who also had like they have a couple of players that went to every single offline event in Wargaming Net League. But they had a couple of guys that were their second offline, and we knew that, and we knew that they could crumble upon pressure. But this is a game, and we lost. You win some, you lose some.
Okay, I see. So now let's discuss the Challenger Rumble that is going to take place in New York. Did you follow the results of land finals in other regions?
Yes, we did, and we are monitoring our opponents. We're watching every game that they played. We're studying them like we always do. Same principle we do always before every match, every offline or online match, and we we are preparing ourselves really good for that. New York, it's really important for us.
Girls, you sound really motivated.
We are always motivated for matches, especially offlines.
I see. Now let's speak about your group in New York. So you're going to play with the winners actually in their regions. I mean, L Gaming and Apex, the winners in Asian Pacific region and American cluster. So what can you say about your opponents?
Well, Apex, we never played Apex. Uh, we know them. They're a similar team to Eclipse, which we played last grand finals. But we know what we could expect from them. We watched them play. But EL Gaming, we played them twice. We played them in China, and we played them in semifinals of Grand Finals 2015. We are really motivated by beating them. EL Gaming is a little unpredictable, should I say. They are a strange tactical team, I should say, but we will be ready for that, definitely.
And let's discuss another group, Eclipse, Ding, and B Gaming. So what are your prognoses about this group?
Ding and Eclipse will go to the next stage, and probably Ding winning the group phase. I'm not 100% sure that they will win Eclipse because Eclipse is a tough opponent on offlines, but those two teams will definitely pass into the group stage, into the semifinals. Sorry.
May I ask how far are you planning to go on this event? I think the final stage, of course.
Of course, that's in our minds every offline and every tournament. As a sports person, you always think like that. You always need to go to the end, but in your brain, you need to slow a little bit down and take one opponent at a time. So just like before this offline in Katowice, we took one step at a time. First, it was 12 teams. Our first goal was to qualify as top eight. Even though we were the favorites, we take always one step at a time. Qualify to top eight, then qualify to top six, then qualify to top four, then go to the finals like we did, and so on. And that's the same thing is here. Our goal is the finals, but we take one opponent at a time. So first two matches of the group stage are the most important for us.
Okay, I see. So, how do you evaluate your chances to come to the Rumble that is going to take place in Moscow in December?
Well, I think the pressure will be upon on us and Ding, and as we are supposed to be the favorites, and I disagree with that because everything can happen on offline games. There's gonna be a little bit of a pressure, but we are used to deal with it. We know to handle our pressure, and I'm giving us good chances to qualify to the finals and going to Moscow.
Now let's discuss different clusters in general. So, what do you think? Can we say that, for example, European and Russian clusters are like more skillful, more experienced than other ones, or it's not completely true?
It's definitely true. The best cluster is definitely the Russian cluster, but we are close to it. We are close to Russians just because we had a lot of Russian teams in the past and a lot of Russian players coming to Europe and play on the EU region, and we were just thinking about one day we will be like them in a manner of you just need to learn your opponents and learn what things they do best, where are their flaws, and that's what we learned with playing against good teams like former Virtus Pro and I don't know Dignitas slash School Bus. We learned from those guys, and of course watching the Wargaming Net League, the cluster one. We also learned a lot of tactical things, a lot of new tricks from them, and that's why I think the European is close to the Russian cluster. And in regards of America, Asia, I don't know if they're doing their studies enough on the Russians or us, but they always seem to be one step back, one step further from us. Maybe that's because they are not training enough or they're not studying other teams enough. I don't know, but that's the way it is. Especially the Asian cluster, they are a little bit of a YOLO-ish, as we know a couple of Asian teams from VCG in China and or should I say WCA?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter. We were playing 754 back then, like 2 years ago, and you you can always expect like they just go for one thing, all seven in a ball,
Yes,
and
that's true.
therefore the teams in Europe and Russia we do have some kind of faster attacks or rushes or YOLO attacks as you call them, but we also like to take it slower, as in having control of the map, control of your opponent, finding out some info where they are, what are they thinking about, and so on. But the Asians just like to go for one thing. They kind of go all in, like in poker, and what happens happens, and that's the unpredictable tactic they have, and that gives them an edge in some way, because some teams are never ready for getting rushed again and again and again. So you're never prepared for that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, their style is pretty aggressive, I would say.
Yes, it is.
And what
As
about
as
Americans?
and
Oh, yeah.
as for
Mm-hmm.
the Americans, they kind of they like to take it a little bit slower. They like to have time to think, but in my opinion, they don't always do the correct moves and correct tactic calls. Even though they found out where everything is, some teams always make some false calls, and they are similar to Europeans and Russians, but in my opinion, a little less skilled.
Okay, I see. So the last question, we're approaching to the end of this interview. Maybe you would like to say something to people who are going to watch Challenger Rumble and, of course, support your team.
As always, I would like to say thank you for watching. Without our fans, we wouldn't be here, of course. As a competitor, you always need fans. You always need their boosts. And I hope we play good and don't let down our fans. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the interview, Veco, so much.
Thank you.
Good
It was
luck
a
in New
it,
York.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.